Everything started on day 12 of the peace tour. That's what the humans called it. It was supposed to be a sign of unity between species after the long galactic border war, but even peace had strange rules and stranger surprises, Lieutenant. Ezra Kane wasn't even supposed to be on the ship. He had been transferred from Earth's 12th Fleet to the interspecies exchange vessel Harmony Crest as a temporary liaison officer. His orders were simple: observe, report, and don't offend anyone. Especially not the women of the Zerelian Guard. The Zerelians were tall, fast, and graceful. Alien, but almost human in appearance, except their faintly glowing skin and hair that shimmered with flecks of starlight. Their military force was made up entirely of females, and they had traditions so strict that even speaking too loudly near their quarters was considered disrespectful. Ezra didn't mean to do what he did. It was the ship's design. The corridors of the Harmony Crest were a confusing mess of curved walls, no labels in Earth standard, and random doorways that opened on silent motion. He was just trying to find the gym. Deck 3. Sector B, the AI had said. He reached it. The door swished open, lights came on, and steam poured out. The sound of running water and faint laughter echoed within. Before he could even react, he stepped in and then froze. There were Zerelian women, dozens. They weren't naked, but they were dressed in what looked like tight silver training skin suits. Water ran down their limbs as they moved through the changing area, some with towels, some mid-dash conversation. They stopped. All of them. The laughter ceased instantly. Ezra's breath caught in his chest. He took a step back. I'm sorry, he said, his voice tight. Wrong door. I didn't mean. Then one of them walked toward him. She was tall, even for a Zerelian. Her silver suit clung to her like it was grown from her own skin. Her eyes were bright violet and sharp like a blade. She didn't look angry. She looked curious. Human male, she said in clear standard. You have entered a sacred female zone. I know. I'm so sorry. I swear it was an accident. You are not being punished, she interrupted. Ezra blinked. What? She turned to the others. Then suddenly, a low hum of voices filled the room again. Not anger. Not outrage. Excitement. Another Zerelian stepped forward. This one with shorter hair and eyes that shifted from blue to green. It is rare, she said, that one of your kind enters here without fear. I didn't know this was a locker room, Ezra muttered. The tall one tilted her head. You did not flee, that is noted. Then something very strange happened. The women formed a semicircle around him. No one touched him, no one shouted, they simply observed him, studied him. A few whispered among themselves in their own language. Ezra stood there, sweating under his uniform. He finally gathered enough courage to ask, Is there a problem? The tall one smiled, not cruelly, not kindly. Just intrigued. There may be, she said. But not because of you. Before Ezra could ask what that meant, an alarm blared through the ship. Red alert. External threat detected. Women around him turned as one. The lights shifted to red. Ezra's implant-pinged orders were incoming. But before he could move, the tall Zerelian grabbed his wrist. You stay with me, human. You've seen what few are allowed to witness. That makes you ours. Ezra stared at her. Wait, what? Outside, the floor vibrated. The ship was under attack. The peace tour was over. War had just returned, and Ezra Kane was about to find out why a simple wrong turn would drag him into the most important and strange conflict of his life, because these alien women were not just soldiers. They were protectors of a secret humanity wasn't ready for. Something ancient. Something buried in their code of honor. And now he was part of it. Not because he was brave, not because he was special, but because he walked through the wrong door and didn't run. And that changed everything. Part 2 will continue. The deeper mystery, unexpected alliance, and war that unfolds. Asterisk, the lights flashed red as the ship shook again. Alarms rang in every corner of the Harmony Crest. Soldiers were running through the curved silver halls, shouting orders in different languages. Ezra Kane could barely keep up. The tall Zarelian woman, the one who had grabbed his wrist, pulled him along with surprising strength. Her hand was firm, but not cruel. Her name, he learned quickly, was Commander Vena. "Where are we going?" Ezra asked as they turned sharply into a narrow hallway, light panels shifting above them with every blast. "To the core chamber," she replied. "You are no longer an observer. You are now part of this ship's fate." Ezra didn't like the sound of that. "Look, Commander, I'm not trained for interspecies combat. I was only assigned to observe," she cut him off with a look. "That changes now." They entered a chamber guarded by 4 more Zarelian women, all in armored suits with weapons shaped like crystal rods. The guards glanced at Ezra but said nothing. The door hissed open. Inside, the core chamber was nothing like what Ezra expected. It was quiet. A large glowing sphere floated in the center, surrounded by curved platforms and strange markings in Zarelian script. The energy coming off the sphere felt alive, like it was breathing. "Is that the ship's power core?" Ezra asked. "No," said Vena. "That is something older. Something we swore to protect long before we joined your Earth Alliance." Ezra frowned. "Then why bring me here?" She stepped closer to the sphere, and it responded to her presence by pulsing gently with light. "Because you entered our space without fear. That means the core accepted you. That makes you important now, whether you want it or not." Ezra felt like he was in the middle of a dream. He wasn't a hero. He was a liaison officer who got lost and walked into the wrong room. What exactly is this core? Vena looked at him with narrowed eyes. "It is the Ember Seed, a living relic from a dying race. It holds energy not just to power a ship, but to protect or destroy entire planets." Ezra swallowed. "And why would someone attack a piece? Tour ship for this?" Vena didn't answer at first. She touched the glowing surface with both hands. Her skin shimmered as the energy connected with her. Then she whispered, "Because the piece was a lie." A cold chill ran through Ezra. "What do you mean?" Vena turned toward him. "The Zarelian Council agreed to this tour, but not all factions accepted it. Some believe peace with humans is weakness. And now, one of those factions has allied with something darker." Another explosion shook the ship. This one was louder, closer. One of the guards outside the chamber called in, "Commander, enemy boarding pods detected. Hull breach in Section E." Vena's face hardened. "They're already inside." Ezra looked around. "We need to get out of here." But Vena stepped toward the glowing orb and placed her hand in a socket that opened in its side. "What are you doing?" he asked. "I'm unlocking the Ember Seed's bond sequence," she said. "We need its full power." "But you just said it's dangerous." She looked over her shoulder at him. "Only dangerous if it chooses the wrong bondmate." Ezra's heart pounded. "Don't tell me I'm the bondmate." Vena didn't answer. Instead, the orb pulsed brightly, and tendrils of golden energy reached toward Ezra. He flinched, but they didn't burn him. They wrapped around his wrist like warm threads, then slowly vanished into his skin. The chamber. Lights dimmed. The Ember Seed let out a hum, and something in Ezra's chest changed. He could feel its heartbeat. Inside him, the door opened again. This time, it wasn't guards. It was something else. Tall figures in bone-white armor stepped in, their faces hidden behind black masks. They carried weapons that crackled with green energy. The intruders stopped when they saw the bond line still glowing faintly on Ezra's arm. Then one of them pointed. "The human has it." The others raised their weapons. Vena stepped in front of him. "You'll have to kill me first." Ezra's pulse raced. The glowing bond burned hot for a second, and then something clicked in his brain. He could see the attackers' weak points. Their movements slowed. His instincts sharpened like never before. The Ember Seed wasn't just in him. It was guiding him. "Commander," he said, voice low, "if I'm going to survive this, you'd better give me a weapon." She smiled for the first time. "Now, you're learning." And with that, war returned not just to the ship, but to the heart of a man who never meant to fight. But fate had chosen him, and now, he had no choice but to fight back. The bone-armored enemies opened fire first. Green beams of energy lit the core chamber in flashes of deadly light. Ezra moved before he even thought about it. His body shifted to the left, faster than he'd ever moved in training. A beam sliced past him, burning the edge of his jacket. The Ember Seed had done something to him. Commander Vena spun her crystal rod, creating a glowing barrier that absorbed the first few shots. Her voice was calm but sharp. "Ezra, behind that pillar. Find cover." He dove behind one of the chamber's curved supports, just as another beam sizzled through the air. The Xerelian guards returned fire, their weapons singing with high-pitched vibrations as they released pure sonic blasts. The attackers were fast, but they didn't expect the chamber to fight back. Small drones, hidden in the ceiling, dropped down and swarmed the intruders with flashes of light and electric jolts. But it wasn't enough. One guard was hit in the chest and thrown back. Another fell with a cry of pain, clutching her leg. Ezra looked at his hand. The golden threads from the Ember Seed had faded, but he could still feel something. Like a voice deep inside, whispering not in words but in instinct. He peeked out again and locked eyes with one of the attackers. That one hesitated, then raised his weapon. Ezra didn't think. He grabbed a fallen Xerelian rod and threw it like a spear. The attacker went down. The others turned in surprise. Vena stared at Ezra, stunned. "You've never used our weapons." "How did you?" "I don't know," he said, panting. "It's like I can feel what's going to happen." She nodded slowly. "The Ember Seed is bonding faster than expected." They didn't have time for more questions. 3 more enemy soldiers rushed the chamber, this time throwing dark orbs that exploded into thick black fog. The core lights flickered. It was hard to breathe. Vena grabbed Ezra's arm and yanked him into a back hallway, sealing the entrance behind them. They ran, their boots pounding against the smooth silver floor. Red emergency lights glowed above, flickering as the ship groaned under pressure. "We're losing this battle," Ezra said between breaths. "Not yet," Vena answered. "But they've come for you now. Me? The Ember Seed chose you. They don't want the ship anymore. They want what's inside you." Ezra stopped. "I'm not a soldier. I'm not even special." "You didn't run. You stood still and looked them in the eyes," she said firmly. "That makes you special enough." She touched a panel, and the wall slid open to reveal a small chamber filled with Xerelian armor and gear. "We don't have time for slow training. Put this on." Ezra stared at the gear. "You want me to wear alien armor? It'll shape itself to you." He grabbed the chest plate. It was light but strong, smooth like metal but flexible like skin. As soon as he touched it, the gold glow in his arm flickered again. The armor reacted, instantly moving on its own to wrap around his torso, arms and legs sealing in place with a soft click. "It fits perfectly," he said in awe. Vena tossed him a new weapon fitter, sleeker than the crystal rods. "This one is tuned to your bond. It'll only respond to you now." Before they could move out again, the floor trembled. A new explosion rocked the hallway. Walls cracked. Sparks flew. Then the ships of I voice echoed, warning. "Hull breach on Deck 3. Enemy reinforcements approaching the core." "They're trying to cut us off from the others," Vena said. "We need to reach the backup control chamber. Lead the way." They moved fast. Ezra's body felt lighter, his balance sharper. The Ember Seed wasn't just giving him strength. It was sharpening everything. Sight, hearing, even his sense of danger. As they neared the next level, they heard shouting, not Xerelian voices. Human ones. Ezra rushed ahead, and what he saw made him stop cold. Human soldiers. Earth Marines. His own kind, but they weren't. Fighting the attackers, they were with them. One of the humans turned and looked directly at Ezra. "Lieutenant Kane?" The man called out, "You need to come with us. You're in danger." Ezra raised his weapon slowly. "From who?" "The aliens have lied to you. That thing in your arm? It's not a gift. It's a weapon that's controlling your mind." Vena growled beside him. "Do not listen. This is the betrayal I warned you about." Ezra's heart pounded. He was caught between two sides, his own people. And the ones who saved him. The human soldiers stepped closer. "We were sent to retrieve you. That core energy inside you belongs to Earth Command now. You're coming with us." Ezra didn't answer. He looked at Vena. He looked at the man, and he realized he had to choose. Right now. And there was no going back. Ezra didn't lower his weapon. His heart was pounding, sweat running down his neck inside the alien armor. He stared at the man who spoke, Corporal Jace Delrin, a familiar face. They had served together once during the Arcadia Rift defense. "Delrin?" Ezra asked, keeping his aim steady. "What are you doing with them?" Delrin took another step forward, lowering his own weapon slightly. "Orders from Earth Command. We intercepted the ship's logs. That orb you bonded with, the Zarelians never told the full truth. It's not just a relic. It's a living AI system. A weapon from before the War of Stars. It can overwrite your mind, Ezra." Behind Ezra, Commander Vena stood tall, her eyes narrowed and voice calm but firm. "Lies. Earth Command fears what they can't control. The Ember Seed has no will of its own. It only bonds with those who show courage and balance." Ezra looked between them. "So which one of you is lying to me?" Delron's face tensed. "I'm trying to save your life. Think about it. The moment you touched that orb, your instincts changed. That's not bravery, that's manipulation." Vena stepped forward. He saved a Zarelian guard without hesitation. He fought back when others would freeze. If the seed had twisted his mind, would he hesitate now? Ezra's thoughts raced. It was true, he had moved faster, seeing clearer. But he still felt like himself. He hadn't lost his memories. He hadn't lost his sense of right or wrong. The voices in his head weren't voices at all. They were instinct, like something sharpening what was already there. "I don't feel controlled," Ezra said. "I feel focused." Delrin lifted his weapon again. "Then you're already compromised. Stand down." "That's an order." Vena slowly stepped in front of Ezra. Delrin raised his voice. "Move, alien." "I cannot," she said. Ezra's finger twitched on the trigger. The moment snapped. A shot rang out. Not from Ezra. One of the Earth soldiers had fired. It grazed Vena's shoulder, and Ezra reacted before thinking. He moved, dodging behind her, pulled the Zarelian sidearm, and fired. The blast hit one of the human soldiers, sending him crashing into the wall. The others raised their rifles. Ezra shouted, "Don't! We don't have to do this." But it was too late. Gunfire erupted in the narrow hallway. Blue Zarelian energy. Beams mixed with sharp green earth rounds, sparks flew. Pipes burst. Ezra ducked and rolled, feeling his new reflexes take over. He took out another soldier, not to kill, but to disable. He shot low, to the legs. Vena moved like lightning, flipping and striking with precision. Even injured, she was faster than any human Ezra had ever seen. In less than a minute, it was over. 3 Earth soldiers were down. One crawled away, dragging his body. Delrin was unconscious, his helmet cracked open. Ezra leaned against the wall, breathing hard. What the hell just happened? Vena picked up a data rod from Delron's belt. Confirmation. "They were tracking you from the moment the seed chose you." "They came to take me," Ezra said, voice low. "They." New, Earth Command. They don't trust me now. No, Vena said. They fear you. He looked at his arm. The golden bond marks were glowing again, brighter this time. And deeper inside his chest, the Ember Seed pulsed with a quiet hum. Not angry, not wild, just aware. Ezra stood slowly, his voice steady now. Then I can't go back. Not to them. You're not alone, Vena said. But now we must leave the Harmony Crest. Ezra blinked. Wait, what? The ship's core has been damaged, she said. More attackers will come, and the Ember Seed must be protected at all costs. We must reach the underground vault on Mirthth 9. Mirthth 9? That planet's under restricted quarantine. Exactly, Vena replied. No one will look for us there. Ezra sighed. So now I'm bonded with an ancient alien AI, hunted by my own people, and being smuggled to a forbidden planet with a bunch of alien warrior women. Vena actually smirked. Now you understand. Ezra looked back at Delron's unconscious body. He felt no hate, just a cold understanding. Trust was broken. Now it was war. But this war wasn't about planets or weapons. It was about control. And Ezra Kane was now the one thing both sides feared. A human with the power they couldn't command. The ship rattled again as another explosion echoed through the deck. Ezra followed Vena through the broken halls, past flickering lights and fallen bodies. The air smelled like smoke and melted metal. Sirens howled, and the floor trembled beneath their feet. The Harmony Crest was dying. Xerelian guards opened a sealed hangar door ahead. Inside sat a small shuttle, sleek, fast, shaped like a smooth arrowhead. Ezra had never seen that model before. Its markings were different from the others. Older. This isn't part of the Earth's Xerelian fleet, Ezra said, eyeing the alien symbols glowing along its wings. It's a relic ship, Vena replied. Silent class. Built during the First Contact era, long before your world joined the Alliance. It's unregistered, untraceable, and the only thing fast enough to reach Mirthth 9 before the others. 2 more Xerelian warriors joined them inside. One had a bandage over her eye. The other limped but carried a crate of sealed rations. Ezra didn't recognize them, but they both nodded to him. To protect the seed, said the one-eyed woman. We follow the bonded one. Ezra wasn't used to titles, and certainly not that one. You don't have to call me that. It's what you are now, Vena said. Get used to it. The shuttle doors sealed, and the cockpit lights lit. Up with a soft blue glow, the engine hummed silently. Ezra sat beside Vena, who placed a small triangular stone into the flight control panel. The ship responded instantly, lifting gently off the floor. Outside, the main hangar bay cracked open. For a moment, the vacuum of space threatened to suck everything away, but the shuttle darted forward through the narrow exit, vanishing into the stars. They were free. For now, Ezra watched the burning remains of the Harmony Crest fade into the black sky behind them. How many made it off? Vena didn't answer. That was enough of an answer. They flew in silence for a while. Ezra leaned back, staring at the ceiling, lost in thought. He could still feel the Ember Seed inside him, resting, not speaking, but still there. He didn't know whether it was friend or weapon, or both. After a long time, Vena finally said, You handled yourself well. I almost shot my own people. You didn't want to. That matters. Ezra looked down at his hands. They didn't shake. That scared him more than anything. I don't know what I am anymore, he admitted. I was just a liaison, a messenger. I wasn't built for this. Vena turned toward him. Do you want to know a secret? Ezra raised an eyebrow. You have secrets? All Xerelians do, she said with a faint smile. I was never meant to be a commander. I was born a temple guard. I prayed, I served. I never held a weapon until the invasion of Drentar. We do not choose the path. Sometimes, the path chooses us. Ezra let out a weak laugh. That's comforting. terrifying but comforting. They approached Mirthth 9 within a few hours. The planet appeared gray and cracked from orbit, like a dead world. Dust storms circled the surface. No cities, no ships. Nothing alive. "Are we sure this is safe?" Ezra asked. "No," Vena said. "But it's safer than anywhere else." The shuttle dove into the atmosphere. Sand whipped across the windows. The landing zone was hidden beneath a jagged cliff face. A disguised hangar door opened just long enough to let the shuttle in before sealing again. Inside was a forgotten bunker. Old metal walls covered in vines. The air was dry but breathable. The silence felt heavy. "We are deep under the planet's surface," Vena said. This was a research vault for ancient tech. Left behind during the last war. No one checks this place anymore. The others got to work unloading supplies. Ezra followed Vena into the lower level. She placed her hand on a wall scanner. The floor opened to reveal a platform that led downward into darkness. "We're going into the vault?" Ezra asked. "The Ember Seed needs containment when it begins to awaken." Ezra's stomach tightened. "Awaken?" Vena didn't answer. The platform descended into a room lined with glowing patterns and stone structures. In the center was a circular platform surrounded by energy rings. "This is a stabilizer," she said. "Sit in the middle. Let the seed adjust." Ezra hesitated. "What happens if I can't handle it?" "Then the seed will reject you. And you will die." She said it so calmly, like it was just a fact. Ezra looked at the glowing circle, then at his hands. Then he stepped forward, heart pounding. He sat. The rings activated. Light surrounded him. His body went cold. His breath froze. Then he saw visions, not dreams. Memories. Cities in flames. Alien gods screaming. Soldiers in silver armor falling before unstoppable machines. A girl crying in an empty field of bones. And then a human. Older, dressed in Zerelian robes with the same golden bond on his arm. The vision vanished. Ezra gasped, falling forward onto the platform. The light faded. Vena caught him. "What did you see?" she asked. He looked at her, eyes wide. "I wasn't the first." Ezra didn't sleep that night. The vault beneath Mirthth 9 stayed cold and quiet, the energy rings still humming softly around the stabilizer platform. He sat alone in the corner of the room, head down, hands pressed together. The memory kept playing in his mind like a broken message. He had seen another human bonded like him. Long ago, he hadn't even known that was possible. Earth's history with the Zerelians only went back 90 years. But the man he saw in the vision wore robes from a time even the oldest archives didn't mention. Vena stood nearby, watching him carefully. She hadn't left his side for more than a few minutes since the seed flare. She could feel it too. Something had changed. Finally, Ezra broke the silence. "Why didn't you tell me there were others before me?" Vena stepped closer. "Because we didn't know." "You expect me to believe that? You called it a relic, a guardian seed, a sacred energy, but never said anything about another human being bonded to it. We believe the Ember Seed had gone dormant after the last war," she replied. "It took centuries to find again. When you touched it, we thought it chose you first." Ezra shook his head. "Then what happened to the one I saw?" "The first one?" Vena didn't answer. Instead, she handed him a data crystal. "You need to see this." He inserted it into the nearby console. A hologram lit up. A younger Vena stood beside a different Zerelian leader in ceremonial armor. The audio played, her voice shaking. Archive record 2241C. Discovery of unidentified human remains in Vault 7 beneath the ruins of Ariska. Body preserved. Arm displays bonding marks identical to Ember Seed pattern. Human origin confirmed. No record in Earth archives. Death cause, overload during seed awakening. Ezra stared at the image of a man, skin pale, eyes open, but lifeless. Arm marked just like his. He died, Ezra whispered. Yes, Vena said. He couldn't handle the full awakening. His mind collapsed. Ezra stood up, his fists clenched. Why is it doing this? Why choose humans at all? Because humans are different, she said softly. You feel, you adapt. And sometimes, you do what no other species will. You take a risk no one else dares. I didn't choose this, Ezra muttered. But you didn't run from it either. Suddenly, a loud alarm echoed through the bunker. Not the ship's alarm, something worse. Unauthorized. Entry detected. Surface breach, Sector 9. Ezra grabbed his weapon. Vena was already moving toward the upper level. They found us, she said. They rushed through the bunker halls, past old machines and storage crates. Dust fell from the ceiling as a blast shook the structure. By the time they reached the main corridor, Xerelian warriors were already fighting, not just Earth troops this time, but mercenaries. Alien bounty hunters in strange armor, firing red energy bolts from jagged rifles. They brought outsiders, Vena said. Earth Command is desperate. Ezra ducked behind cover and returned fire. His aim was faster than ever. The Ember Seed was awake again. He could feel it feeding him small flashes of direction, like turning left half a second before an enemy appeared, or ducking just as a shot passed over his head. One of the mercenaries threw a grenade. Ezra reacted without thinking. He reached out, and the grenade froze in the air, glowing gold. He stared at it. So did Vena. Then the grenade crumpled into dust, crushed by invisible pressure. Vena looked at him with wide eyes. You're accessing its defensive matrix. Ezra didn't even know what that meant. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It means your mind is sinking faster than anyone thought possible. Ezra fired again. 3 enemies down. He felt no pain, no fear, only focus. But that scared him more than anything else. They fought their way back toward the vault doors. The last of the warriors were falling back, wounded or overwhelmed. Vena shouted into her comms. Activate fallback protocol. Lock down Vault 6. But before the doors could close, a new figure stepped into the hallway. It was another human. Older, gray hair, military uniform. General Harwin of Earth Command. Ezra had seen him on the news. A war hero. One of the men who led the charge during the final push of the Galactic border war. He walked in calmly, unarmed, his hands open. Lieutenant Kane, he said. You've caused quite a mess. Ezra raised his weapon. You're behind this? I'm here too. Clean it up, Harwin said. You're carrying something too powerful to be trusted in alien hands. We just want to bring you home. This is home now, Ezra said. Harwin sighed. You don't understand what you're carrying. That seed inside you, it doesn't just protect, it creates. It can rebuild or erase entire ecosystems. Ezra's grip tightened. Then why do you want it? To fix Earth, Harwin replied. One broken world at a time. Vena stepped in front of Ezra. You'll have to go through both of us. Harwin looked at her sadly. Then so be it. He nodded. And from the shadows, something new stepped out. Not human. Not alien. It looked like a man made of glass and lightning. The Ember Seed inside Ezra screamed in warning, and suddenly, Ezra understood. Harwin hadn't come to take him, he had come to end him. Ezra didn't breathe. He couldn't. The thing standing across from him wasn't human, though it had a human shape. It moved like a shadow wrapped in light, its body made of shifting crystal and pulsing lines of electricity. It had no eyes, but he felt it watching him. The Ember Seed inside his chest pulsed hot, fast, like a drumbeat warning of death. Vena whispered, That's not a soldier, that's an echo. Ezra didn't take his eyes off the glowing figure. What's an echo? Living weapon, she said. Built from seed energy during the Lost Wars. They were never supposed to exist. Again, General Harwin stepped beside it. We didn't build it. We found it where the last bonded one fell. It obeys the seed's frequency. That means it obeys you. Or it destroys you. Ezra raised his weapon. I'm not giving you control, Harwin sighed. You've already lost control. That thing inside you? It was never meant for just one. Mind. The echo moved forward slowly, each step cracking the floor beneath it. The walls of the vault vibrated with every motion. Sparks danced off its arms like rain. Vena stepped in front of Ezra. Run. Ezra shook his head. No, you're not ready. Maybe not, Ezra said, voice calm. But I won't let anyone use me to hurt others. He stepped out. Beside her, the gold marks on his arm burning bright. The echo rushed forward. Ezra dropped to his knees and slammed onto the vault floor. A shockwave of light exploded from his body. The echo was thrown back, smashing into the far wall. The ceiling cracked, and part of the hallway caved in. Ezra stood up slowly. His eyes were glowing, now bright gold, filled with the same energy that lived in the seed. Stand down, Harwin ordered, his voice unsure for the first time. I'm not yours to command. Ezra said. The echo rose again, slower this time. Vena handed him a Zarelian relic blade. This blade was forged in the core of a dying star. It will strike even an echo. Ezra took it. His hands didn't shake. The echo came again, faster now, more aggressive. Its blade arm extended, slicing through walls like paper. Ezra dodged, rolled, and countered. The seed's whispers weren't words anymore. They were feelings, directions. Split-second warnings. He moved like he had trained for years. Blade met energy. Sparks flew. Vena joined the fight, striking low while Ezra struck high. They danced around the echo, fighting as one. But it wasn't enough. The echo knocked Vena aside with one hit, slamming her into a support beam. She didn't move. Ezra shouted and unleashed a burst of gold light that blinded the whole room. When the light faded, the echo was stunned, flickering like a broken signal. Ezra didn't hesitate. He drove the blade deep into its chest. The echo let out a horrible sound like a scream, made of static and shattered into 1,000 pieces of light. Silence followed. Then the vault started collapsing. Harwin had vanished in the chaos. Ezra ran to Vena, lifting her gently. I've got you, he said. She opened one eye. About time. They escaped the collapsing chamber and fled back to the shuttle. The other Zarelian warriors were already waiting, wounded but alive. The ship lifted off just as the vault collapsed into the ground, burying everything beneath tons of rock. In orbit, the stars looked quiet again, but Ezra knew peace wouldn't last. Inside him, the Ember Seed had stopped glowing, but it hadn't gone. Silent, he stood at the edge of the shuttle's viewing window, staring at the stars. Vena approached slowly. Her arm was wrapped, her steps weak. You did it, she said. No, Ezra replied. We did it, she smiled. You've changed. Ezra nodded. I walked into a locker room by mistake. Now I'm bonded to an ancient alien power, being hunted by my own people, and flying with warrior women across the galaxy. Do you regret it? He looked at her, then at the stars. No. The seed pulsed once. A soft hum, a promise. Ezra Kane wasn't just the bonded one anymore. He was the bridge between species, the answer to a war no one wanted, and the only hope for something better. All because he took the wrong turn and never looked back.